Hello, buddy. How are you doing? Today is Thursday, 10th February 2022, and it's been a hell of a time setting up this recording. It's just everything that could have gone wrong has gone wrong, and I'm sweating like a pig. I'm getting bitten by mosquitoes, but who cares? We're here. As you see, I'm trying new stuff in this room. The microphone that I told you one day I was going to use, finally I'm using. I couldn't use it for over a year and a half. This is not the perfect setting. The room is not like properly isolated for, and treated for sounds and echo and all that. But I'm going to give back the other one to your uncle. So I better start adapting to what I have, and what we have here is superior to any microphone that you can imagine. I mean, it's really, really good. I mean, of course, there's better than this, but I'm not willing to spend tens of thousands of dollars to improve. So this is just fine. And those microphones are just impossible to use unless you have like a proper studio, like professional grade studio. And unfortunately, it's not going to happen anytime soon unless I would have a really good reason to do so, which I would love to. I love the voiceover stuff, and yeah, but again, it would have to be a very good business reason to do so. And besides that, I had to kick the computer away from here because the fan is just so noisy, and this thing picks everything. So yeah. Then lighting, everything is just not correct yet, but hey, just bit by bit. Today was a good day for me. My co-host and I had a really good interview in the Crypto channel. We interview a really cool team they're developing a DEX, which is a decentralized exchange. And it's a really good one because they're really they're working hard to make this DEX really transparent and really easy to use, right? Everything is going to be running on the blockchain. Very nice, a lot of good stuff. But the best thing I saw is that these guys are like all super accomplished people, like professionals in their respective fields. Like one is has a doctorate in chemistry. The other three are just different. They have different involvement in Wall Street for 10, 15, 20 years, all of them. But what I liked a lot, and what I always like about people who are outstanding, is that they're humble. This is one thing is the trademark of people who are really good, truly good at what they are, true professionals. They always are humble. They're always approachable. They're always, they always go out of their way to explain things in ways that are simple for the layman. And if you ever want to know if the person you are talking is a person of true knowledge, of true capacity, of true wisdom, see if they are humble. See if they can laugh at themselves. See if they don't take themselves overly seriously. And if they don't, these are truly the outstanding people that you should be talking with, you should be learning from, you should be observing carefully to get the best out of these people. And, having this channel I have has given me the access to outstanding people from around the world. I've been very lucky in my life. I've always befriended and been around very smart people, extremely smart people, extremely successful people in whatever field they were. So this is no different. The difference probably is that I get almost every week to talk to amazing people, and these people are changing the world. These people really are visionaries that are leaving behind extremely successful careers, extremely fat paychecks for the sake of going after what they think is best for the world, for technology, for other people, and of course for themselves. So I love talking with this kind of people. They were like super fun, right? Super amazing, nice people, and it went so well. After 10 minutes, I feel like they're all my best friends, and I also took care of all the studio settings, which are kind of a mess. There's no one at this moment who is the head of production, so I'm undertaking the responsibility myself, which I obviously shouldn't do it because I'm not a professional. I'm just a amateur interested on these kind of things. But nevertheless, as long as you care for what you do, as long as you give it your best, as long as you research, you can always do a very good job overall. But of course, if a professional comes, I'm going to be more than happy to step aside and let him or her do a better job than me, obviously. So that's a good thing for today. And I was going to have a 10 p.m. as well, because we were going to have a second interview also with people in the US, but they canceled. It was also it will happen next Monday. It's going to be a very, very interesting interview. I'm going to be interviewing the head of Trader Joe, which is a DEX in the Avalanche network. Anyway, again, probably in 10 or 15 years, either Avalanche is owner of half of the world, or it has disappeared long ago. Who knows? Or it has evolved into something like a massive mega monster of information. I don't know. Who knows? My God. But this is also a cool thing about doing these videos, is that you will see so many things that are up to date at the moment that I'm making these videos, and you will be able to see what stands, what withstands, what holds over years or decades with these videos. You will also see the natural evolution of your data, right? Like a lot of things that I hold true today may be disproven or proven wrong tomorrow, right? And you will see, right? You will have that privilege of seeing your data being wrong and accepting it most likely and hopefully, and researching and coming back with a new theory, a new paradigm to work within, or you will see your data was right. Right? Either one of them, I'm happy, because, if I'm proven wrong and I improve, good for me. If I'm proven right and I keep going, well, good for me, right? And good for you, because then you see the natural evolution of a man that is presenting to you as he is. And that, to me, is the most important thing. I'm not interested in making you believe or like, your dad is like perfect or good or like nothing in particular. Okay, so yeah, that's it. That's for this, and that's why I share all these kind of ideas with you. I mean, the point is to share it, so so you can see, you can compare, like within different time frames how correct or incorrect that it was. And I also was going to tell you, I'm thinking about doing this project like called the Next 50. I always told you, right, in many videos, and I'm sure that I'm going to be telling you when you are young and when you grow up, how I prepared myself for you. Like, it was not a casual moment for me to tell mommy, hey, let's have a kid and just have you. I actually did so many efforts and so many things to make sure that if you ever arrived, and thank God you did, I was going to be as ready as I could. And ready, how ready? One thing, for example, and this all goes together with the idea that I'm telling you about the Next 50, right? I'm about to turn 50 very soon in just 8 months or something. And it's not a lot, but 49, 8, and a few months is very close to 50. So very soon I'll be 50. Yet, because of all these changes that I made over the last 16 years, right? And a lot of them were driven by the hope of having you in my life, right? I have come to this age in a state that most 49 years old are not. By that I mean, like, my health is outstanding. My energy levels are, to be honest, they're really impressive. Like, I can keep up with any 20 years old any day, any time, right? Which is quite impressive. And I'm not saying it, bragging it. I really appreciate that I have such a gift, but I also I am proud that it's because of what I have done and because of the person who I am, right? And the mindset I have today at 49 is completely different to the mindset of everyone I know of my age. Not everyone, but most people, right? Most people. Now, I belong to a group of people, of expats, right? And because of the nature of our lives, that we're living elsewhere, we are living outside in a different country. We do business and we meet people and we have relationships at high levels with people from everywhere in the world. We stay younger than most. I mean, the people who, for example, people back in Mexico of my age, they don't even know how to download an application on their phones. I mean, that's how bad it is, let alone to do blockchain or crypto or to think about the next big thing. Like the guys I was talking with this morning with, that most of them are over 50, well over 50, at least 55, right? Yet they are changing the world, and they are doing it because they are not in love with the person that they think they should be at the age they are. So that's interesting anyway. So, for example, I'm just going to ground it here for one thing that you changed that I would like to share with people for the next 50. Okay, and the idea is like, okay, to get to the 100, because I have you, I want to be 100 years old when I die, just because of you. Otherwise, I would be happy just living at 70 something. That would be fine with me. And if that's the case, I'll be happy. But I would definitely prefer 100 so I can see more of you. But look, when your cousin was pretty much a newborn, so that must be 12 years and something ago, I held him. We were in your grandma's house, and I held your cousin for, let's say, a minute. But I was in such a bad shape after all different, like injuries and problems and surgeries I had, that I couldn't have him for over a minute, not more than a minute, without feeling that my shoulders was going to fall off. Like it was not that he was heavy. It was just that I had so many compensations that whatever effort I made, it just created massive amounts of pain, right? So I got that night, it was nighttime. That night I got so concerned by the fact that if I ever had a child, I wouldn't be able to carry him or her on my arms for over a minute. Just imagine to have the most beautiful meatball ever and not being able to hold him, her, right, for hours at a time. So that was, even I was doing a lot of rehabilitation, even I was already, like doing everything I could to get better. That was a massive wake-up call for me. That was the moment that I was like, you know what? I don't care what it takes. Really, I don't take what it takes for me to get well, for me to get ready for my son to come here and to be hugged by his daddy and to be cared by and to be, transported as many kilometers as my baby would need, right? I would do anything in my power to make sure that I'm that capable man. And I did. After that, I almost retired from anything of meaning in my life. I'll be honest with you, I almost bankrupt my company. I I uh, I just left everything because I was in such a terrible state that 1 hour effort or 2 hours effort or 3 hours effort per day wouldn't have been enough. Period. I dedicated every single hour of my day and many hours of my nights to get well. Obsessively, I learned everything I could about, the human body, about exercise, about rehabilitation. I went and I took courses on Pilates and CrossFit, Reiki, like from all these different areas, right? Like everything you could imagine, I tried for long periods of times, and I got like diplomas and all this because I was always in the belief that people were withholding truth. They were withholding information that could allow me, if I put it in practice, to get well. But you know what? They didn't have any. It's what they talked was all they had, and that was not nearly enough of what I needed to get well. So I took things in my own on my own hands, and I was like, okay, frick, let's just fuck it. I went and I started researching empirically, mean by experience, with movement, meditation, altered states of consciousness, so I could unlock whatever was behind all the physical problems, all the physical pain, all the injuries, all the chronic inflammation. I just went all in, especially because I was lucky enough to find a doctor, rehabilitation doctor in Thailand, Dr. Garuna, who helped me so much. I had already been to so many hospitals around the world with some of the best specialists. And then this woman comes, a tiny Muslim, super beautiful hearted doctor, and she works with me and she helps me a lot. But at some point she told me, look, Lawi, you have no injury as such. You don't, as a physician, all I can tell you that you have no inflammation. Therefore, there's nothing else I can do for you. Like, you have recovered enough functionality for any doctor to call you healed or okay. But I know this is not enough for you, because it really wasn't. It was just barely enough, and I still depended on the muscle relaxants, and I depended on painkillers, and I depended on everything. So she told me, besides what you're doing, look for the emotional or the spiritual side of your pain. I was like, whoa, a doctor talking in these terms, that's interesting. And since she's the most capable doctor I have ever found in my life, there must be some truth behind all this, right? And remember, she's a Muslim, so she is a woman of faith. So I started looking that way, and I started also diving into everything that I could about nutrition, mindset, meditation, etc. So I ended up spending, as I said, pretty much every single moment of the day. And I'm not talking about when I was in the gym or, or cooking or eating well. No, I'm talking about truly dedicating every minute to healing. Every minute. Even when I was walking, I would be using all kind of visualizations in order to get to certain muscles that I couldn't get to use. I couldn't get them triggered. I couldn't get them to function as they should. So just imagine the amount of time and effort I put there. But of course, I started creating so many neuromuscular connections and so many synapses in the brain that I got amazingly good at it, right? And I just trained and I just developed my own movement bit by bit, my own protocol, right? And I started healing stuff that is, honestly, I cannot even explain to doctors. I wouldn't care less to explain, but because it's just so infinitely complex. The human body is just so complex. It's so interconnected. It's one. It's a single piece. In modern science, in modern disciplines, right? We tend to cut in pieces in whatever our tiny understanding thinks of systems. We cut them. We don't know, honestly. Honestly, this is something I already think so many times. We don't know if we're really like precisely, subtracting a system out of other systems, or we are just chopping, parts of different systems. That's what we do. That's it. So I think that's what we have done for most of time, right? And there's really amazing research out there, but nothing of what normal person has heard, and even normal doctors just don't hear this. You really have to go super specialized, and a lot of things are not, even they are scientists and they are doctors, other doctors don't recognize it because it's just too advanced for them. So that's just one thing I did, right? And buddy, I would spend at least 2, 3, 4 up to 6 hours every night repairing myself. Like getting deep into meditation, and I would start tremoring. Like my body would start like fixing itself in automatic mode. I wouldn't do anything. I would be just like observing, marveled at my body repairing, like my spine, like doing like, which now I recognize maybe 10 years later when I read about Kundalini energy, right? Like how the spiritual energy, right, goes from the coccyx, right, all the way to the top and beyond of the head, beyond of the head, and then my spine would be like 3 snakes in one body, just going to all different sizes and ways and tempos and vibrations and rotations. It was just incredible. Nothing anyone outside myself could do. I mean, even if you put 10 people like doing massaging and manipulating my body, they just couldn't replicate one of these extremely extraordinary complex movements. So I went doing that for, I don't know, 6 years, 8 years. I modified my eating habits. Of course, unfortunately, I went all the way to the wrong side because unfortunately 2020, for a long time already, vegetarians and vegans have taken center place, and they're destroying humanity's health. But I went that way because their arguments are convincing. They sound really good. They are very emotional, and there's very good. There are goods, but seem to be extremely good and it's extremely scientific, and it takes a mind that Daddy doesn't have, that is extraordinarily rational, and it's extremely good with statistics. Like you need a proper statistician to go through the numbers to disprove them, right? So when I read this book, I don't remember. It's like the Bible for vegans. Later I will remember. I was like, God, I need to go vegan, right? But the truth is that after years of trying all these different protocols, I was getting worse and worse and worse. Even I was doing it extremely carefully and paying attention to nutrition first and foremost. It just didn't work. So, but I want to stay away from that talk for now, and just about the movement, right? And the mindset that went with it, because I realized very soon that when I healed my body, emotional stuff would come up. Spiritual stuff would come up. Stuff that was deep, deep, deep down, like sometimes, many times actually, after when I was like moving, right, with extremely deep and complex movement patterns, music that I hadn't heard, and it just happened to me a few days ago, music that I hadn't heard in 40 years, just came to me straight, and I was listening as if the radio was connected straight to my head. I was like, But this is how trauma usually gets put into different compartments. When you have trauma when you are at any age, but more as a kid, the pain you're feeling it, you may associate it with a visual, or you may associate it with a sound, or you may associate it with a song, or you may associate it with a place or something, right? So I went through all these different stages of healing. They were so different. Like every few months, everything changed. I started noticing patterns. So that's when people asked me to start teaching them, and I started teaching with amazing results, to be honest. But my movement protocol is not for the weak. It's not for the weak-minded or weak of heart, because it's not painful, but it's extremely uncomfortable, because I get people in two positions that are super simple actually, but in ways that are it's as if I take off their skins, so there's nothing that can protect them, if you can imagine such a thing. So I want to know if I'm really recording. Let me see. Yes, computer is still working, because the other day it just stopped for no reason. Anyway, so this, buddy, as I said it, I did it years and years, but my body was in such a terrible state after so much trauma and so much pain and so much everything I told you, right? It took me years and years to truly get to the core of my problem and start fixing it, right? I learned a lot. And even more when I was, no, I cannot say that I learned more when I was teaching, but I validated a lot of my theories and a lot of my observations, right, through my students. So this is one way that I'm telling you that I got ready for you. That's what I mean when I say I got ready for you. And because I was doing all this and I was unearthing all this trauma, all this emotional stuff, honestly, I can tell you, I actually had flashes of past lives. I had flashes of moments when I was in my mom's womb, right? I can only know it. I have no proof. I cannot say, oh, this is my mom's womb and this is how it looks. It's just more a set of strong emotions or feelings that can't be explained or put in words. So I went through, I had nights, buddy, that memories came so strong that I kept crying all night, but shaking, crying. Massive. And this modified my personality, which unfortunately was too emotional. I was too how can I say it? Either too happy or too sad. Too this or too that. Very, very few times in the middle. I was addicted to these high emotions, too much pain, too much fun, too much everything, right? So I realized very soon when I was going through all this that even though it hurt me so much that I didn't have you, and I thought I was never going to have you, because I was in a relationship, long-term relationship, and even though everything was tried, I just couldn't be a dad. So imagine that every year that passed was 1 year that I was sadder and sadder of not having you. And this was also, partially at least, accountable for some of the pain I was experiencing. We don't realize, because we have come so far away from our nature, how emotions are intimately related to to our well-being, to our homeostasis, health. But when I got really good at movement, which I got amazing body awareness, like completely off the charts awareness, I can feel my muscle, like I can feel my spine from the back, from the inside, from the sides. I can crack like my spine anywhere I want, but just focusing on with my mind and breathing. So that kind of thing I can do. Even stuff that is really unreal. I don't even talk about it anymore. I don't even try telling anyone to do what I do, because it's just complex, and I know that I'm pretty much wasting my time, because people find it really interesting. But when they know they have to put the work, then they just flee, and rightfully so, because they don't have enough pain to justify the effort. Yeah, so I'm going to miss the point. I don't want to miss the point. Did I miss a point? I was not going to miss a point, and then I was afraid of missing the point, so I did. I missed it. Awareness, yeah. Okay, so I was very aware, right? And emotionally, I got it. Emotionally, I realized that all this pain came from because of emotions, and but I also realized that this pain was there because it was trauma, pain, emotional pain that was never processed. There's no way as a human being or as a creature in this world, in this realm, that you go without trauma. It's just life happening and us not dealing with it consciously. That's all trauma is. There's going to be bad stories every day. There's going to be pain every day. There's going to be injuries every day. There's going to be bad news every day. There's going to, things that we don't want to happen, they will happen. It's just life. But because of our nature and our lack of acceptance of what is, and our eternal desire of distracting ourselves from the present, right? We go gathering all this stuff as memories inside the body, and the body contracts, and the mind changes, and the habits come, and we end up being a person that we shouldn't be, but we don't even notice we are. So that's what pain showed me. That's what pain talked to me, and that's why I am so grateful for all the pain I had, because this is what I got shown by pain. And I got shown that I was not ready to be a dad. Because I was not ready to be the dad that I wanted to be. How's that? I wanted to love purely and truly you. And as I was, the person I were, I couldn't. I was in too much pain. I was too unconscious. I had too much of a victim mentality. So all I was going to do to you was going to hurt you, because a lot of things that I didn't process they came from my dad. A lot. My dad, I cannot say he didn't love me, but he was, and he is an extremely unconscious person. Extremely unconscious. So he kind of vomited all his traumas and complexes on me, especially. Not on my brother, thank God, but on me heavily. And I was too young to deal with it. And I didn't have the tools to deal with it. And I didn't know that I had something to deal with. So I just took the worst, unfortunately. I took some of the good, of course, but the good was teachings. The bad was, again, gathering bad and kind of wearing it in my my body. So it's too intimate. The bad is too intimate with it, while the good is just good memories or just good teachings. So that's what I learned, buddy. Through pain, I learned that I had to do something because I was a monster inside. I was going to destroy you the same way that my father did to me. By reacting like a stupid teenager instead of an adult. That's what I was going to do. I was going to punish you the same way he would, like ignoring you, mistreating you. I don't know, all the things that Grandpa did. It was I don't blame him. I'm beyond that, thank God. He's forgiven, because I understand that's the man he was. It was not bad intention. It's just that that's the man he was. It was not a decision. It's the man he was. And just like now, I cannot be anywhere else but myself, right? The only difference is that my dad, through all these years, never tried to improve himself. Never. To this day, almost 80, closer to the grave than me, supposedly. No, he doesn't repent. He doesn't try to. He's like, hey, I've done this almost 80 years. I still get the same freaking result. Let's find a new way, right? No. So when I found out that I was going to be a monster for you, then if I was doing my best to be well, to be okay, health-wise and physically wise and emotional wise, then I just got that turbo boosted 1,000,000,000%. Because then I started kind of thanking God for not giving me a child to mistreat, to mislove, to put my pain upon him or her. But just in case, I said, look, I may not have a son or a daughter, but if I ever happen to have one, if the miracle comes and I happen to be a dad, I'll be the best dad in the world. At least I'm not going to harm him. At least the mistakes that I make are going to be totally unrelated to the stuff that I can fix today. Yeah. That's, buddy, how you changed my life. Years before you came to me. And for that, I'm so grateful. Because just the mere idea of your existence was enough for me to leave everything and focus on improving myself to be the man that would deserve a kid like you. How's that? This is the reason I wanted to do these videos. Because these kind of things are the ones that I want you to know. You are my miracle. And then, guess what? Because of I became kind of not famous, but respected, definitely. Admired by some people, recognized in what I was doing, because I was also helping people at that time, like not only physically, not only nutrition, but things of the spirit, then an old friend of mine asked me to travel the world and go and help him. And that's how I met your mother. That's a really good series that we used to have like 10 years ago. That's how I met your mother. That's why I just finished like that. But that's exactly, in every episode, he would say a tiny thing, a tiny chapter of his life when he's recording his like, remembering or recalling and telling his son how he met his mother. So this is how I met your mom. Actually, after all these years that I told you that I just went my way, I didn't care about anything. I didn't care about traveling or fancy things or buying stuff or making money or my business or nothing of the world. Nothing of the world. After just giving everything pretty much up and just be fine, because I've always been blessed by God massively. By that I'm just affluent, just things come to me in a natural and simple way, which I appreciate a lot. And I'm trying to manifest more of that, because I have realized that the more I try, the less I get of everything. The less I try, the more I put myself in the hands of the universe and of God, the more things just come to my lap. And I believe that may be the reason, because the call is just to help others. And when I just chill and wait, then when I'm relaxed and I'm not looking for something, things come to me, and then I can be of service to others. Yeah. So, but that's how the whole thing started with you, buddy, by letting go of my life, of who I thought I was, of the pain and bad memories that I thought I were. And through all these new things I learned, because you inspired me, because I just wanted to be ready if you ever come, I traveled the world to help someone with my teachings. And that's how I met your mom. And only a few weeks later, you were coming. And in another video, I'll tell you everything about that, because that's a story of its own. And well, that's a very long introduction. You had a runny nose 2 nights ago. You couldn't sleep well. Daddy soothed you, comforted you, touched your back, and I was there like, and mommy, we were there like, pretty much we didn't sleep all night, taking care. You didn't have a fever, but you were hot, but actually you felt hot, but you actually looked totally normal, except with the runny nose and just like sneezing like crazy because of it. And today you're just fine, which, I mean, I can't thank God enough for having such a wonderful, strong, and healthy kid. And that's it. We just had a nice day again today. Played a lot, played with your toys, played with your airplanes. You're a marvelous thing. I must say that the thing I love the most is just observing you and observing you and observing you. In every detail, I devour every detail with the same consciousness and carefulness and detail that I did movement. Is the way I treat you. I am with you. It's exact. I just shifted some of my consciousness, some of my awareness from within to you, to catch the signs. I'm in a very nice. I have this feeling, buddy. I'm working a lot, as I have mentioned, meditating heavily, 2-3 hours a day, different times of the day, and I try to stay kind of in a meditative state throughout the day. And a lot of new information is coming. authors things that I never heard, which is quite unusual because believe me, I consume information like few. It's coming. So I have a list of books that I want to get my hands on, and I will get tomorrow probably. And I'll start researching because, the last 3 to 5 years, I haven't actualized, I haven't updated actually knowledge. It's as if I took around 15 years to gather information, and then I was like just using, implementing, integrating that information. And I think now it's very absorbed, very well taken in being used. I'm using it. And I think a new set of information is coming into my life, which I'm very grateful because I think this is coming right at the time that I will need it to guide you through life. Yeah. So I love you. And now you know I have so many reasons to love you, but I think this is a beautiful video. I feel very reflective, very reflective. Am I reflecting? I feel at peace. I feel love. I feel gratefulness. I feel humbled. And I feel an immense love for you. And I'm hot. And that is immediate. Anyway, buddy, I think this is enough for this video. I'm sorry I didn't give you a lot of updates about you, but hey, it's my video. I do whatever I want, huh? I love you. And buddy, God bless you. And never stray away from Jesus, by the way. This is something I really need to start getting closer to. I love you. May God and Jesus bless you. See you soon.